So speaking of churches, so you've been a deacon. How long have you been a deacon?
Since the 40s. Way back up, in 1950.
When did you decide that you wanted to get involved in the church movement, church active things?
Oh, my wife belonged to a church. We were brought up as Methodists, but on coming here, she belonged to a little church which was closer to home, and upon Mary, she lived close to the church, and it was a good church for our community. And Mrs. Viola Gibson, she was a minister at that church at that time, and we found favor with the church close to home, and we joined it. That was back in the 40s, I guess you may say.
Okie dokie. So, talking about like churches and things. So, what do you say you have accomplished during this long time of being a deacon, and also what have you accomplished, and what are your favorite accomplishments? Things that you have accomplished. Oh, I can't even say it, but the things that you have done in your life. What was one of the big accomplishments?
Accomplishments or disappointments, I don't know how you would say it. I think one of the great things was being a part of a church, or being a church member. It takes you out of the street and puts you in the church, and that's the greatest accomplishment for me, to live a saved life, Christ, rather than a life in the streets. So I didn't have to go to the world for my fun. I found my pride and joy and praise all in the church. And this was the greatest thing that ever happened in my life, is that I found the Lord, or the Lord found me, and I no longer had the need or desire to frequent those places, the clubs and the places where you seek a local entertainment. We found most of our entertainment in the church. We engage activities throughout the year, picnics and get-togethers and etc. in the local church. So during that time, I guess you have to say that the greatest accomplishment would be finding the Lord and finding joy and peace in the world, but out of the world.
So, what if you could change anything in your life that has happened in the past, or what has happened in the future, what would those things be?
I don't know. I don't have an answer on that. Because so many things depend on the circumstance. Under the circumstance that it was on, I probably would have done the same thing. So I just leave that God. Things we do according to the circumstances at that particular time, and based upon what was happening at the time, we did them. I probably would have did the same thing. But had it been under different circumstances, there's probably been some things that I wouldn't have done, would not have done, rather, that I did do. So I can't really say on that one any further.
So do you have anything that you think I have missed, or that you think that would be good for people to know about you or your life and where you are today?
No, well, some of the things that happened, like you say, civil rights, right? I was president of NAACP for maybe 4 years, I think. 4 years or 6 years. Then I had a great struggle on my job. The company I worked for, by the way, I worked for Wilson Food maybe 35 years. And I did have a confrontation with them because I worked in the kill, the processing part. They have the nasty job in your kill, your hog kill, your beef kill. And I desired to go to, my desire was to go to a mechanical game where I could work in behalf of a craft or trade. You know, they had little training programs going on for pipe fitters. But my desire was to be an engineer for it. And their desire was to keep me as an employee, but it took me, 10, 15 years to get on the level with the company whereby they would even let me have a job that you were pursuing. We had a union, and the union said that you could transfer throughout the plant. So the company had to put up some stops that everybody couldn't trade, so they designed a test, they designed a test so that if you could pass the test, then you could go to one of the mechanical departments. And the test consisted sort of foolish thing, but again, you know, you might say they could go either way. I'm saying, like as I think one of the questions I remember very plain. They say from an airplane, which one could you see the best, black and white cow or black and brown cow? And they gave you maybe 3 answers, and upon taking this test, I think we wrestled with that thing for a number of years because they would always say that I missed enough to not be permitted, but they wouldn't tell me how many. So after a period of time, we wrestled with them for years, and finally they said, well, I got everything right, but I was a half a point short. And just wrestling with them to get a chance just to go, it's not a mechanical job, still a job, but in wrestling with them, they finally relented to the position where they could give me the job. And I say that's why I had training in boiler maintenance, refrigeration, and low steam pressure. That's where we've been for the last 20, 25 years of my labor. I was an engineer for steam. We pushed all the steam throughout the company and done all the refrigeration for the company. So that we wrestled with, but the main thing was that I was black, and they didn't want any blacks in a lily white department. So this came to, you know, we fought a number of years over this thing here. Went to court and brought the NAACP in and brought fair employment practice in on the company before they relented to let blacks work throughout the plant like anyone else without some other bridge or some other bridge you have to go over before you could get to the job, you know. Your job we desire to have, they put a bridge to keep you from it. And you had to complete the bridge or break the barrier. And this is what we did there. So we worked a number of years, brought the NAACP in, and finally brought the company to a position where they relented to have blacks throughout the company.
All right, well, thank you
Thank you
very much.